Hello everyone and welcome back to my F1 2020 My Team career mode for the Mexican Grand Prix today. It is a big day today. It could be the championship decider between Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton. Bottas with the advantage, and if he has a good result here today, he could seal the title. But here's the R&D chart heading into the episode. We are the 4th worst team, but as ever I think that's partly down to our durability department. I'm not sure if that actually shows on the graph, but that is where we lose some of that, if indeed it does show. But anyway, we move on to the end of Q1. We get through relatively easy, and Matsushita also gets through in P16 there. So a great effort by my teammate, and he manages to exit Q1 for the first time since Japan, I think. He qualified in the top 10 in Japan, so let's see if he can replicate that here in Mexico. In some ways it's a similar style circuit with the flowing corners, but anyway, we come across the line in our Q2 lap. I think that was our second flying lap, and we go P6, and we had to burn 2 sets of tyres in that session, but we do get through into Q3. Matsushita unfortunately gets knocked out down in 15th position. Still out-qualifying Esteban Ocon in the Renault, so still beating one of the factory Renault drivers. We have the Renault power, of course, in the back of our cars, so great job there by Matsushita. We are ahead of Ricciardo, who was also knocked out, so both Renaults actually struggling quite a lot in that session, considering they, I think, have gone well around this circuit in the past. But anyway, we move on into Q3, and this is our one and only lap in this session, so we really do need to string it together, and in hopes to get, let's hope maybe the 4th row is probably as high as we can realistically expect. I don't think we'll be starting in the top 6 as we were in Q2, but anyway, we'll see what we can do. A bit of a mistake there through the middle sector, and that's going to cost us some time all the way along here, but we'll see how that affects the total time. We don't really have anything to compare ourselves against, so we're just driving as fast as we can and see what time pops up at the end and what position that puts us in. So towards the final corner now round, and towards the finish line, where will we qualify for the Mexican Grand Prix? P8. Decent stuff.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Bottas, Hamilton and Max Verstappen. With qualifying wrapped up, we now have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
So it's a decent starting position for us, so let's see what we can do in the race.
Here we go then. It's time to race in Mexico City, a place which gave Honda their first ever victory back in 1965. American Richie Ginther won from 3rd on the grid. And what are the Honda-powered cars this year? Well, Red Bull have been going strong here in recent seasons, so can they keep that record going today? 17 corners then at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, 10 to the right and 7 to the left, and all of them will have to be tackled in difficult, wet conditions here today. No DRS assistance either, at least not for the start of the race, but the best overtaking opportunities will still be down into turn 1 or shortly afterwards into turn 4. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. I want to ask you about Nobuharu Matsushita. Looks like they've got a tough race in store today, as grid penalties from changing power unit components has forced them further down the field.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The fence starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Alexander Albon, the scientist, Perez, Stroll, Gasly, and Daniel Kvyat. Ricciardo, Sainz, Kimi Raikkonen, and Vettel. They've taken a grid penalty. Giovinazzi, Grosjean, Kevin Magnussen, and George Russell. Latifi, Matsushita, Ocon, and Lando Norris starts from the back of the grid. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
The boss wants another points finish this weekend. Let's give it everything.
So, reigning Matsushita has a grid penalty, blue tyres, all the things you don't want to see at the start of a Grand Prix. But we'll make the best of it. It's going to turn to light rain at around 45 minutes into the race, and then dry up after that. So I expect it won't be too long, realistically, given the timeline. But anyway, we go to the 5 red lights, and away we go for the Mexico City Grand Prix. And it's an alright start for us. I think it's very hard to tell what is going on. This car is all moving to the right, so I'm going to move to the left and see if we can make any positions. We're actually all the way up alongside Valtteri Bottas as we head into the first corner. It's a great start for us as we head around the outside of the Mercedes through turn 1. We understeer a lot though, and turn 2 we just miss completely. We're off circuit, even though we briefly do take the lead of the race, but Bottas is back through, so is Lewis Hamilton, and we're back down into 3rd position. But that's still nonetheless a great start for us, even though we did lose those positions. That was an amazing run to the first corner, but yeah, we just couldn't turn the car left through turn 2, and it just didn't work out for us. But anyway, we managed to survive that, but the understeer in the rain is already kicking in,
Let's capitalize on that first lap.
and you can see how quickly the 2 Mercedes cars were able to get away. We're holding up Max Verstappen so much through these corners. We'll see if we can hold on to this track position in the rain. It's can be somewhat easier to maintain track position even if you don't have the pace. You know, there's no DRS to make overtaking easier, so we could have an easier time than if it was in the dry. Max Verstappen would just be straight past. There would be no competition, I don't think, but we'll see what we can do in this opening phase of the race. But right now, to be completely honest, I don't have high hopes. But the blue wall tyres, the full wet tyres, I've never really felt that comfortable on, and you can tell right now that they're not really working for me. And as we continue on through this race, a lot of understeer through this kind of double right-hander hairpin, and there goes Max Verstappen. We can't fight back. Verstappen is up into 3rd position. We are down into 4th as the 2 Mercedes stretch away in the lead. Valtteri Bottas leads Lewis Hamilton. But on the topic of those 2 drivers, I think as things stand, Bottas will win the championship. I think Hamilton will need to outscore.
Rain looks like it's going to be getting much lighter over the next 10 to 15 minutes. There should be more grip, but don't expect a dry track.
Who need to outscore Bottas by a significant amount to stay in the fight. But rain will be clearing up soon, but it can't come soon enough as we go off the road, and Alex Albon and the home favourite Sergio Perez get past us while we regather ourselves and get back on circuit, get things underway once again. But yeah, we're just losing so much time in these wet conditions, and the dry, or at least the intermediate conditions,
The car behind is gaining on you by 5/10 a lap.
they just can't come soon enough. So we'll see if we can still make the most of this. We may actually try potentially for an early switch to the intermediate tyres, but we'll consider that when the track is dry. Right now it's definitely too wet for the Inters as we go for a big slide on the exit of the final corner. Charles Leclerc gets past us there, and now Lance Stroll is gaining and gaining. He's going to have a look to the inside. We're going to try and go to the outside of Charles Leclerc and try and retake that position, but Lance Stroll is on the inside as well, so we can't really switch it back through these corners the way I would have wanted to, and Stroll just gets through there and we can't fight back. And it's a good move by Lance Stroll to get up and ahead of us into 7th position. We are now down into 8th after being 3rd after the first couple of corners. So it's really been a struggle for us in this stint. We've now got Pierre Gasly and Daniel Ricciardo right behind us as we head into the stadium section. We go deep into there once again, and Gasly and Ricciardo are straight through. Danny Kvyat is right there as well, but we're going to manage to hold him off just about through the stadium section and maintain that position. But it's yeah, just we've just got no pace at the moment, and we are just sinking like a stone through the field. So I think we have to try for intermediate tyres soon, and that we might even do it on this particular lap. And yeah, we are. So yeah, we're going to box for the Inters and hope that they can give us a little bit more pace in the next phase of the race. It will dry up towards the end as well, so there's still hope for then. But I think we realistically will need a safety car to stay in contention in this one, and to get back to where we were towards the start. I mean, the Red Bulls are going to be too fast for us, for sure, but we should be close enough to the midfield that if we do have the pace on the intermediate tyres.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
The way that we have in the past, we might be able to gain some of those positions back that we've lost in the late phase of that first stint. So I can say immediately coming out of the pits, the intermediate tyres were so much better than the wets, and yeah, just instantly we were right on the pace again. So we can continue on now and just push on, try and get as much time back while we've got some clean air. But you can see we are catching the next group of cars rather quickly, tail-ended by Lando and Norris, who had a grid penalty. He's currently stuck behind Nicholas Latifi, and there's a bit of an air gap in front of them. So we need to try and overtake these two without wasting too much time. But look at the spray coming off of their wet tyres. But Lando Norris goes into box, and we have free air to go chasing after Nicholas Latifi. A few cars into the pit to actually get thrown all the way up into the top 10. Nicholas Latifi running now in 9th position. That might be the highest he's run all season. That may not be true, but it very well might be as we close up through the first few corners. Can we actually get a good exit here and go for a move? We haven't actually gone through there very nicely, and Latifi might be too far ahead here. We'll have to go for a big dive if we're going to make this work. Late on the brakes, down the inside of Nicholas Latifi, just about squeezing through on the inside there, and we make the move up into 9th position. But that was a very fine move on Nicholas Latifi, and he probably would not be too impressed with that, but we need to get these moves done, otherwise we'll be stuck behind him in the spray through this entire middle sector.
Good job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
But yeah, we get the fastest lap on lap 15 as we continue on through the race. P7.
7th place. Some information on Hamilton. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
And oh, that is a disaster for Lewis Hamilton. A mechanical issue in his car in the race where he needs to beat Valtteri Bottas to have any chance of staying in the fight. He was already running down in 3rd position while Valtteri Bottas is leading in this one. And yeah, that is not what Lewis Hamilton needed in pursuit of his 6th world title. But we'll see if that resolves itself, if he can get his way back into the fight. But he already lost 2nd position to Max.
The track will be drying out quite soon. Mind you don't burn out your tyres.
To Max Verstappen, but yeah, Hamilton just not with the pace today. I think he might have had to double stack when they switched from the wet tyres to the intermediates, but I'm not sure. Even so, that's a pretty weird thing for Hamilton and Mercedes to choose to do. But anyway, we continue on, and we are throwing the car through the middle sector, trying to keep up with Charles Leclerc. We were a few seconds behind. We've managed to close up to him, but we just cannot make the move on Charles Leclerc. We just kind of stuck behind him for now, and we'll maybe need to try for an undercut once the conditions go dry or something else, because we just cannot get close enough to make a move. We lose a lot of time through the middle sector, and out of the final corner he is just so solid, and we just...
The track's drying, the track is drying. Let us know when it's time for
yeah, we just don't have the pace. You can see though, as Jeff is pointing out, the track is considerably drying. There's not the sheen on the road anymore as we go for a move up the inside of Charles Leclerc into turn 1, and we just about squeeze through there. Really nice move on the Ferrari, and we move ourselves up into 6th position. Next up is the Red Bull of Alexander Albon. He's not too far up ahead either, and that Red Bull will not have the same straight line speed as the Ferrari, so that we should be able to make that move a lot easier if we can get close to him. The other thing is Leclerc has been catching Albon at the same time, so we should have the pace over the Red Bull. But it comes time to move on to the dry tyres, and we will go for the soft compound tyres to make sure we stay nice and competitive. That will mean it's another stop before we get to the end, so I did consider the mediums, but no, we are going on to the softs as the racing point there comes out in front of us. That is Sergio Perez.
Go, go, go. You'll be racing on the
having
exit. Go, go, go.
having a very decent run.
Only one stop to go. One stop left in this
At
strategy.
his home race is Sergio Perez, so it's great to see for his sake. But as we rejoin on the circuit,
Sat in sixth.
that is Daniel Kvyat's retiring from the race. I didn't get a replay of that, but he is out. Anyway, continuing on, we do close up eventually to Alexander Albon. He's struggling for pace in this phase of the race. We have a look up the inside, contact there into turn 4, and we thankfully avoid damage to our front wing, but that was a bit of a last minute move. But yeah, just
Keep pushing. You're gaining on the car ahead.
yeah, that was a little bit unnecessary from me there. We get a good slipstream along the straight from Nicholas Latifi. We're actually trying to use Alex Albon to save a bit of fuel, but we have managed to do that for the most part, and we can go and attack him once again. But yeah, we did follow him for quite a long time to get our fuel back, because we were in the red after being in the rain for so long. I'm not sure exactly why that happens, but there you go. We continue on though, and we will hopefully
The car behind is dropping back by about 0.3.
get the DRS along the straight, which we do. Gaining. Look to the right. We switch back to the outside line of Alex Albon. We breeze past on the straight, and that is a nice move round the outside, and easy does it into the first corner. We are ahead of Alex Albon and up into the top 5 now. Next up is Sergio Perez. Here's the replay, switching from right to left very aggressively. I didn't quite mean to do it, turn quite that sharply, but yeah, I've kind of had the feeling Albon was going to keep moving across to the right, because they can have a habit of doing that. In the end, he didn't do it, but anyway, it all worked out fine. We did get the move done, but we could have very easily taken our front wing off there on the left rear corner of his car. But we move on.
In this lap,
And
push now. Gap to teammate behind is 57.1 seconds.
And now it's actually Daniel Ricciardo putting the pressure on Albon, and he's going to go straight along past along the main straight. And Daniel Ricciardo is up into 6th position, so it's a great race for my fellow Australian in the Renault, and he was he's looking to score some good points. He's actually putting the pressure on me now as we make a bit of a mistake there. But we move on, and it is time to come in for our final stop of the day, as we just about managed to get into the pit lane, running very wide on the entry there. And yeah, this will be our final stop. We'll see where we re-emerge. Hopefully we'll have a quick stop. I don't think traffic will be too much of an issue in this one, and we will get going once again for the final stint in this race. We go into another set of soft compound tyres.
Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tires.
And yeah, we get moving once again. Lewis Hamilton is only one position ahead of us at the moment. But anyway, we...
There is a fault to the DRS. You won't be able to open the rear wing. We're working on a fix. Stay out.
we move on. There's a fault in our DRS. Ricardo to the outside as we're trying to defend into the middle sector. And we do hold off Daniel Ricciardo, but he has got so much pace at the moment. We go very deep into this double right-hander. Ricciardo is up on the outside now. We will have to go side by side through this DS's in the middle sector, and we will just about hold off Ricciardo, but he has got so much pace in that Renault. It's going to be a tough order to try and hold him behind us. A big mistake there as well, and he goes straight on past into the stadium section. We can't fight back, and Ricciardo is up and into P5. So we just don't have the pace of that Renault. But
Some information on Norris. It looks like the problem is terminal. They're retiring the
Lando
car.
Norris is out of the race with a mechanical failure, and that is going to bring out the safety car, and that could very well mix things up in this race, because as I said, we don't quite have the pace.
Roger that. Soft tyres are the next
at the end of this race. So we're going to box for another set of soft tyres. You can see the ones we're on aren't terribly worn, around 30% on the front left, but the ones we'll switch to are much newer, as you're about to see if I
Exit
yeah, open the menu there on 7% on the front left. So
that was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
that should be enough of a contrast to the rest of the drivers that we should
overtake the safety car. You may overtake the safety car. It is waiting to pick up the leader.
Hello, and actually just to quickly note, this is Valtteri Bottas. At the same time, we were overtaking the safety car going through the first few corners, so we were very close to going a lap down, and if we did, that would have ruined our race, and we'd be stuck in ninth position, being one of the first cars a lap down. We wouldn't have been able to improve on our position, but whoa, that was close to...
Give that position back. We are under safety car conditions and cannot overtake. Return the position.
That was very close to an aeroplane crash.
Safety car is in this lap. Safety car in this lap. Let's make sure those tyres are up to temperature, and remember, there is no overtaking until the timing line. Stay in position until the green flags.
But anyway, as Jeff continues to interrupt me,
There's 3 laps of fuel
for goodness sake, these soft tyres should give us enough of an advantage to try and take it to these cars ahead of us, even though they might be faster on pure pace, minus maybe Albon. I think we should be able to make these moves. We should be faster than maybe Gasly as well. But anyway, we move on and try and get a nice run onto the third straight. You can see trying to straighten up turn 3 a little bit to get a good run onto the straight. Can we make a move on Alex Albon here? We have a look to the inside. There's another car in the way though. It's George Russell rather, and we make a bit of contact with Albon. Russell manages to block him off for me on the apex, and we make that move. There's Antonio Giovinazzi as well. Giovinazzi's still trying to go back up the inside. He gets a bit pinched there and make a bit of contact. Big up past Matsushita. We dive down the inside of Pierre Gasly as well and make that move. So we've made 2 good overtakes up into P7 immediately on this restart. Next up is Charles Leclerc as we continue along. And we're going to go for the move up the inside of Charles Leclerc. There's Hassas on the apex though. We make a bit of contact with Romain Grosjean. Kevin Magnussen moves out the way as well. The lap cars causing chaos towards the end of this race, but we've managed to navigate them without getting damaged. A collision warning with Grosjean as we did smash into his right rear tyre on the apex there, but we've managed to get ahead. And now we are trying to get the slipstream from Kimi Räikkönen along the straight, and we'll pull out. He's going to let us go as we head into turn 1. And the next target for us is Daniel Ricciardo, the man who overtook us just before the safety car came out. So if we can make this overtake, I would call that pit stop well worth it. With only a few laps left to go though in this race, it will have to be a very last minute overtake. We may end up with a last lap battle with Daniel Ricciardo. We'll see what we can do on the final lap. There's no overtaking in that last sector, so as we move on to the main straight on the final lap, Ricciardo is actually not going to defend. We're going to go up the inside into turn 1 side by side, and it's going to keep it there on the inside through turn 2. He's going to hold it around the outside for turn 3, but we're going to squeeze him out and take that position, and we'll move ahead of Daniel Ricciardo and get up into P5 once again. And that is great racing with Ricciardo. We've moved ourselves up into the top 5, and that is, I think, where we'll stay in this race. Sergio Perez is a bit too far ahead for us to try and chase him down. That is Sebastian Vettel, who is a lap behind. A disastrous race for him in the other Ferrari. With Charles Leclerc, remember, not far behind me. We only overtook him about a lap ago now, but that is just about it for this race. We've only got the stadium section left to go, but here is not only the race winner, but also the championship winner. Valtteri Bottas rounds the final corner and crosses the line to win the Formula 1 2020 championship. A great effort from Valtteri this season. We're going to come across the line for P5.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
And that was a very fun ending to the race. Get the driver of the day as well.
And so the celebrations begin, and well earned they are indeed. It may have looked simple at times, but as any racing driver will tell you, competing at this level, at the very top, is anything but simple. There's no catching them now then. We have a new World Drivers' Champion. Not just victory today then, but the championship as well. What a spectacular season they've had. Congratulations to the whole team. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
There he is, Valtteri Bottas, the world champion of 2020. Unbelievable drive from him, not only in this race, but all season. And he has taken home the rewards.
Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
I have to give it to the scientists. There was a lot going on all down the field, but they were the only one who I really felt maximised their potential.
It's another clear win for Mercedes as they managed to secure the Constructors' title. An incredible performance for the whole team. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Unbelievable. Really interesting race this time. The last few laps were very tense. Initially I was kicking myself for making that pit stop, dropping down to 9th position, but we're able to cut through the field pretty quickly. Matsushita gets up to 16th in this race, so not a bad effort from him. I really want to see what I can do without penalties.
Great work out there today. Let's have your thoughts. You're surpassing all expectations. Can anything or anyone stop you?
Too much heavy rain probably wouldn't be great.
Do you have any comments about the collisions?
Yeah, the collision with Grosjean was unfortunate. We had to go for the move on Leclerc. We had the run, and Grosjean was just wrong place, wrong time, unfortunately.
Well, thanks anyway.
Alright, that brings the Mexico City Grand Prix weekend to a close. We continue to beat Mr. Ocon in our rivalry, but we'll surely win that. Team Acclaim is up to 13, so we're inching closer to the next sponsor. Still a long way off for now, but 1.17 mil from the bonuses, 30k for whatever this screen is, and we have 4.9 million in total. But let's see what we can do between now and the next event. So the first thing we need to do is renew some sponsorships, and we are going to go with the same ones that we previously had, Satellite and Sudo, which incidentally I found out is Chinese for speed. Next up we have the activity timeline, so we will do the simulator training, a bit of extra experience for Matsushita. We'll do the sponsor event fundraiser for some team acclaim, some driver promotion filmings for some driver acclaim, and the aerodynamics equipment upgrade for some resource points and a morale boost in that department. So we go and fast forward through the timeline and head towards the Brazilian Grand Prix. We get an upgrade to the turbo size. I assume that's a power upgrade from Renault, because I don't remember purchasing any upgrades, only adapting parts as of late. But we arrive at the weekend, and we have some resource points that came in, so we're going to adapt a couple more parts before the end of the episode. I've been doing this a little bit in the background. You can see we've adapted probably, I'd say, around half. The major upgrades are covered, so that's probably the biggest concern, but we will continue to do as many as we can before the end of the season. I feel like we'll be able to save the majority of them, but we may focus on the engine side soon. But anyway, other than that, there's not too much else left to say, so thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Thank you, and goodbye.